You probably believe you already know which healthy milk is best for your bones, but what if the one you trust every single day is quietly working against them? If you're over 60, this isn't a small detail. Bone loss after 60 rarely announces itself with pain at first. It progresses silently, year by year, often while people feel they're doing everything right for their health. And here's the uncomfortable question most seniors are never encouraged to ask. What if the problem isn't low calcium intake, but that your body no longer knows where to send it? Did you know that two people can drink the same amount of milk, eat similar diets, and still see completely different bone density results? According to newer research on digestion, inflammation, and bone cell signaling in older adults, the difference often has little to do with quantity. It has everything to do with calcium absorption after 60 and the signal your bones receive once nutrients enter the body. And here's the part worth pausing on. What if that signal quietly weakens as we age, even when our habits stay the same? If you're over 60, stomach acid tends to be lower, the gut more sensitive, and low-grade inflammation more common. That means the same milk that worked at 40 may no longer support bone health the same way now. What if the carton you reach for every morning delivers calcium, but also creates enough digestive stress that your bones never fully respond? And if that's true, how many people are blaming aging itself, when the real issue is something far more specific? Here's where it gets unsettling. Some of the most popular milk types for seniors look perfect on the label: fortified, low-fat, even doctor-recommended, and yet studies suggest they can still leave calcium drifting in the bloodstream instead of locking into bone. That's when people hear, "just get more calcium," without realizing the real issue was never intake. It was direction. So here's a question many seniors have never been asked. If calcium is present, why isn't it strengthening bones where it matters most? Think about this for a moment. If your balance isn't what it used to be, if you've had a minor slip, a sudden back twinge, or that quiet fear after a near fall, you already understand why this matters. The real danger isn't the fall itself. It's the slow, invisible bone thinning that made the fall life-changing. And that leads to an even bigger question. People search for every day. Why do some milk choices fail to improve bone density after 60, while others seem to help without larger portions or supplements? This isn't about fear, and it's not about giving up foods you enjoy. It's about understanding why bone health after 60 depends on signals, not slogans. Once you recognize the difference between a milk that simply contains nutrients and one that actually helps bones use them, the confusion starts to clear, and that's where hope comes in. In this video, you'll discover why some milk choices send weak, confusing messages, while others create the conditions for stronger bones naturally. Stay with me, because the order matters more than most people realize, and we're about to begin the countdown. For many people over 60, the most serious bone threat isn't dramatic pain or a sudden fracture. It's the quiet loss happening underneath, week by week, while life feels mostly normal. Bone loss after 60 can progress without warning. Balance can weaken without notice, and one ordinary movement can suddenly change everything. What makes this especially dangerous is that many adults believe they're protected simply because they drink milk or consume calcium regularly. But what if that sense of safety is false, and the habit meant to protect your bones isn't supporting bone health after 60 the way you think? Here's the part most people don't hear at routine checkups. As we age, the body doesn't just absorb nutrients differently, it interprets them differently. Digestion slows, inflammation rises, and bone cells become far more selective about which signals they respond to. That means calcium can enter your body but never fully reach its destination. And when that happens, bone density doesn't just decline, it can accelerate quietly. Did you know many fractures in older adults aren't caused by weak muscles, but by bones that stopped responding years earlier? If that's true, what else might be happening long before a fracture ever occurs? But here's the good news, and it matters more than you might think. Bone tissue is not dead or passive, even after 60. Research shows that bones remain biologically active far longer than we once believed. They can still respond, stabilize, and even strengthen if they receive the right kind of message. This is where hope enters the picture. The problem isn't that your body is incapable anymore. It's that it may not be getting clear instructions. And that raises a hopeful question. What if clarity, not intensity, is the missing piece for stronger bones naturally? What if the issue isn't low calcium at all? What if it's the form, the timing, and the internal environment that determine whether bones listen or quietly ignore what you consume? According to newer studies on aging digestion and bone signaling and nutrition, certain everyday choices create confusion inside the body, while others restore clarity without extremes. Most people never learn this difference, so they keep repeating habits that feel healthy but deliver mixed messages. If bones are still listening, why are so many people sending the wrong signal? And why doesn't calcium absorption after 60 work the way it used to? This is where the sense of control returns. You don't need extreme diets, high-dose supplements, or complicated routines. The solution is far more practical and far more specific. In this video, you'll discover how certain milk choices for seniors influence inflammation, digestion, and bone cell communication in very different ways, especially after 60. You'll see why some options merely pass through, while others create conditions bones can finally respond to and support bone density. And as we move forward, pay close attention, not to labels or trends, but to how the biological signal shifts. Because once you understand that shift, the countdown that follows will make sense in a way most advice never has. According to recent research from leading US medical institutions, bone loss after 60 is no longer viewed as a simple calcium problem, but as a communication problem inside the body. In simple terms, your bones don't just need nutrients, they need clear instructions on how to use them. That's why so many seniors follow healthy routines, drink milk regularly, and still feel weaker, less stable, or surprised by declining bone scans. And here's the question most people never stop to ask. If the routine is right, why do the results keep falling short for bone health after 60? Here's the key shift science has revealed. Bone cells are active decision makers, not passive storage units. A 2023 study on aging metabolism showed that when digestion changes with age, the same food can trigger very different biological responses. In everyday language, your body may be hearing mixed messages. That's why two people of the same age can drink the same thing every morning, yet one continues losing bone density while the other doesn't. Could it be that the issue isn't effort, but how the message is being interpreted? Researchers now know that inflammation, protein structure, and digestive stress all influence how bones respond to what you consume. Put simply, if digestion is irritated, bones switch into a defensive mode. Many older adults recognize this without realizing what's happening. They feel off after meals, heavy instead of nourished, even when eating familiar foods. And here's a curiosity worth pausing on. If bones are always defending, when do they actually get the chance to rebuild and support stronger bones naturally? According to studies on gut bone signaling, the environment nutrients enter matters just as much as the nutrients themselves. In simple terms, a calm internal environment helps bones listen, while a stressed one causes them to ignore even good inputs. That's why some seniors notice no change after dietary adjustments, while others feel subtle improvements in balance or strength. It's not luck, it's signaling. So what if your bones aren't resistant at all, but simply overwhelmed by mixed instructions? And that's why calcium absorption after 60 doesn't work like it used to. Scientists also emphasize that aging doesn't shut down bone responsiveness, it changes the rules. In daily life, this looks like needing fewer things done right, instead of more things done often. Many people over 60 sense this intuitively when supplements pile up, but results don't follow. That leads to an important curiosity. If bones can still respond, what kind of message actually gets through at this stage of life? According to current bone biology models, clarity beats quantity. In simple terms, a smaller, well-received signal can outperform a larger, poorly processed one. That's why the conversation is shifting away from more calcium toward better delivery. Seniors often describe this realization as relief, understanding the body isn't broken, just misinformed. And this is exactly where our focus turns next. Now that you understand how science explains bone response in plain human terms, the next step is to see how everyday milk choices for seniors quietly change that signal. As we move forward, notice how subtle differences lead to very different outcomes. Because once the signal becomes clear, the pattern behind the countdown starts to reveal itself. Now, let's count down the milk types that influence bone health after 60, starting with the weakest signal and moving step by step toward the one that sends the clearest message to your bones. As we go, pay close attention to how small differences create very different outcomes. Because when it comes to bone loss after 60, order matters far more than most people realize. And here's the question worth keeping in mind as we begin. If two options both look healthy on the label, why can the long-term results be completely different for bone density? Number 10. Rice milk. Gentle, but directionless. Rice milk is often chosen because it feels light and easy on the stomach, especially for older adults with sensitive digestion. But biologically, it offers very little guidance to bone cells. With minimal protein and only trace supportive minerals, calcium, when present, often passes through the body without being anchored where it's needed most. In practical daily use, rice milk works best as an occasional option for tolerance, not as a consistent strategy for stronger bones naturally. If you're over 60, relying on it alone can mean nutrients arrive without any clear instruction. Bones don't reject the calcium, they simply don't know what to do with it. The result is comfort without construction, which can feel reassuring in the short term but disappointing over time. And here's the curiosity many seniors never stop to ask. If digestion feels calm but bone scans still decline, what signal is missing? Number 9. Oat milk. Popular yet confusing. Oat milk has become one of the most popular milk alternatives, especially among seniors looking for a heart-healthy or plant-based option. It's often fortified with calcium and vitamins, which gives a strong impression of protection. However, its higher carbohydrate load can interfere with mineral balance when used frequently, particularly after 60 when blood sugar regulation becomes more sensitive. Many people feel full and satisfied after drinking it, which is why it's often chosen daily. In practice, oat milk works better as a rotation option rather than a primary source for bone health after 60. The caution is assuming that fortification automatically equals effectiveness, especially if bloating, energy dips, or blood sugar swings appear. The result is maintenance rather than activation. Bones stay where they are but rarely move forward. And this leads to an important curiosity. What happens when you do the right thing for years, maintain your habits faithfully, yet never trigger the repair signal bones need to truly strengthen? Number 8. Soy milk. Conditional support. Soy milk often sits in the middle of the bone health conversation, and for good reason. It provides plant-based protein along with isoflavones, compounds that can influence bone cell activity, particularly after menopause. For some adults over 60, this interaction can help stabilize bone turnover when estrogen levels decline. In practical use, soy milk works best a few times per week with meals rather than daily or in large portions. This spacing allows the body to benefit from its supportive signal without overwhelming sensitive systems. The important caution is individual response. For adults over 60 with thyroid concerns, hormone-sensitive conditions, or medications that interact with soy compounds, moderation and medical guidance matter. That's why soy milk often produces very different outcomes from person to person. The result is a mixed signal, clearly helpful for some, incomplete for others. And this leads to a curiosity many people overlook. If soy milk is labeled healthy, why does it feel like progress for one person, but a plateau for another when it comes to bone density after 60? Number 7. Almond milk. Protective groundwork. Calcium-fortified almond milk plays a quieter but important role in bone health after 60. By lowering dietary acid load, it helps reduce the need for bones to release minerals in order to maintain balance in the body. In simple terms, it protects what's already there. Almond milk works best between meals or in the evening, when the body naturally shifts toward recovery and repair rather than digestion. Choosing unsweetened versions is essential, as added sugars can create metabolic noise that interferes with mineral handling. Almond milk is not meant to rebuild bone on its own, and expecting dramatic changes can lead to disappointment. Its real value lies in prevention, slowing further loss and creating a calmer internal environment. The result is protection rather than construction, a necessary first layer of defense for seniors concerned about balance and stability. And here's the curiosity that sets up what's coming next. If protection is step 1, what specific signal actually triggers step 2? True bone density support rather than simple preservation. Number 6. Cashew milk. Quiet enzyme support. Cashew milk works in a quieter, less obvious way, which is exactly why many people underestimate its role in bone health after 60. Unlike milks that rely heavily on calcium content alone, cashew milk contributes something more subtle but essential: magnesium. Magnesium supports key enzymes that help guide calcium into bone tissue instead of leaving it circulating without purpose. This matters because calcium, by itself, doesn't know where to go. Without enzymatic direction, much of it remains underused, especially in older adults. For seniors with sensitive digestion, small and regular servings of cashew milk are often more effective than large amounts. Used earlier in the day, when digestion and enzyme activity tend to be more responsive, it can quietly improve how minerals are handled over time. Cashew milk fits best as part of a broader routine, not as a standalone solution. The main caution is relying on it as a primary protein source. Cashew milk is supportive, not structural, and excessive use can crowd out other nutrients bones still need for strength. The result is better utilization, not dramatic or immediate, but gradually noticeable in balance, comfort, and overall stability. And here's the curiosity that naturally follows. If calcium absorption after 60 improves through better enzyme support, why do so many people still struggle to see measurable changes in bone density? Number 5. Coconut milk beverage. Indirect helper. Coconut milk beverages don't strengthen bones directly, but they influence an important upstream process that many people overlook. Fortified coconut milk contains medium-chain fats that can support how the body handles vitamin D, a nutrient that plays a critical role in calcium absorption and bone signaling after 60. This milk works best with meals, not on its own, because fat-soluble pathways are already active when food is present. In practical use, modest portions a few times per week are enough to support the internal environment without overwhelming calorie balance. The key caution is portion size. Coconut milk is calorie-dense, and excess intake can create metabolic noise that distracts the body from repair signals rather than supporting them. Think of coconut milk as an assistant that prepares the pathway, not the builder itself. It helps create smoother conditions for calcium to be used, but it doesn't deliver the final instruction. The result is improved delivery conditions rather than direct rebuilding, an indirect but sometimes necessary step. And that raises an important curiosity to carry forward. If the internal environment improves and calcium delivery becomes smoother, what specific signal do bones still need to finally act, rebuild, and move beyond maintenance into real strength? Number 4. Lactose-free cow's milk. Reduced resistance. For many adults over 60, the issue with milk is not calcium itself, it's resistance inside the digestive system. As we age, lactose intolerance becomes more common. Stomach acid levels may drop, and low-grade inflammation quietly increases. When digestion is irritated, bone cells often ignore incoming nutrients, even when calcium intake appears more than adequate. This is one of the hidden reasons why bone loss after 60 can continue despite doing everything right. Lactose-free cow's milk changes that internal environment by removing a major trigger of digestive stress. Used once daily with food, it allows protein and calcium to land more smoothly instead of competing with bloating, gas, or discomfort. This matters because calcium absorption after 60 depends just as much on tolerance as it does on intake. If the gut feels threatened, bones tend to go into a defensive mode rather than a rebuilding one. The key caution is monitoring your individual response, especially if you take medications that affect the gut, stomach acid, or intestinal motility. Some seniors notice improvements within weeks, not because they increased calcium, but because the body finally stopped pushing nutrients away. The result is less internal resistance, clearer signaling, and a calmer digestive response. Bones can finally listen instead of defending. And here's the curiosity many seniors find surprising. When digestion settles and irritation drops, can bone health after 60 improve faster than expected without changing how much calcium you consume? Number 3. Goat milk. Faster access. Goat milk often feels like a small, almost insignificant change, yet biologically, it creates a meaningful shift in how nutrients move through the body. Its smaller fat globules and different protein structure allow it to digest more easily, helping nutrients reach their destination before they're delayed, diverted, or lost. For adults over 60, timing matters more than most people realize. When digestion slows, nutrients that arrive late may never reach bone tissue effectively, no matter how healthy the food looks on paper. In practical use, one small glass earlier in the day, especially with breakfast or a light meal, is often enough to support consistency without heaviness. For seniors who experience bloating, pressure, or discomfort from traditional cow's milk, goat milk can feel like a turning point rather than a compromise. The caution is moderation. More is not better when the goal is clarity and efficiency. The real advantage here is speed. The result is efficiency. Nutrients arrive on time when bone cells are most receptive and responsive. And this leads to the next curiosity worth holding on to. If digestion speed and timing improve, what final element turns faster delivery into a truly unmistakable bone-building signal? Number 2. Grass-fed. Whole milk, clearer direction. Grass-fed whole milk is often underestimated because it seems simple, even ordinary, but for many adults, especially when it comes to bone health after 60, simplicity can be exactly what the body responds to best. Here's the key idea. Bones don't just need minerals. They need a clear signal that tells those minerals where to go. Compared with heavily processed milk alternatives, grass-fed whole milk typically carries more fat-soluble nutrients that can support the routing of calcium toward bones, instead of leaving it drifting in circulation or being handled less efficiently. That matters because calcium absorption after 60 isn't only about what you consume. It's about whether bone cells recognize the message. In practical daily use, a moderate serving with meals a few times per week is often enough to support bone density support, especially when paired with protein and healthy fats that help the signal register. Think of it like this. Milk becomes more than a drink when it's taken at the right time, with the right meal, in the right amount. The key caution is portion awareness. If cholesterol management, calorie balance, or triglycerides are part of your health plan, this milk works best when used intentionally, not excessively, and it should never crowd out other bone-building foods. And here's a curiosity worth pausing on. If grass-fed whole milk improves direction, why do some people still feel stuck, doing the same routine every day yet watching bone scans slowly decline? Could it be that the missing piece isn't more calcium, but a cleaner signal that reduces internal noise so bones can actually respond? Number 1, a 2 milk, the cleanest message. And finally, the most surprising option, often dismissed until people notice the difference in how they feel afterward. A 2 milk stands out because of its protein structure, which breaks down differently during digestion. For many adults over 60, that detail can matter as much as calcium content, because digestion and inflammation can directly affect how the body interprets nutrition. A 2 protein may reduce certain inflammatory byproducts that can interfere with bone signaling in some individuals, helping the internal environment stay calmer after meals. In simple terms, when digestion is calmer, bones are more willing to listen, and the body may handle minerals with less resistance. Start small, half a glass with breakfast or lunch, and pay attention to digestion, comfort, energy, and that subtle, lighter after eating feeling over the next 2 to 3 weeks. This isn't about chasing instant results. It's about creating a steady, repeatable signal. If you take medications, manage kidney or gastrointestinal conditions, have calcium-related issues, or follow a restricted diet, checking with your doctor is the safe step before making major changes. The result is clarity. Calcium doesn't just arrive. It's more likely to be directed, processed, and used to support bone density after 60, which is exactly what many people want when searching for the best milk for bones. And here's the final curiosity to hold on to. If 2 milks can contain similar calcium, why does one feel like it supports steadier strength, while the other barely moves the needle? What if the real advantage isn't more nutrients, but the cleanest message your body can actually interpret? Now that you've seen how the signal strengthens step by step, the next section will connect these milk choices to simple daily timing and habits. Because for milk types for seniors, timing can change outcomes. You're not just choosing what to drink, you're using it strategically to support stronger bones naturally and help prevent bone loss naturally in a way that finally makes sense. If you've been feeling tired, unsteady, or quietly worried about your bones lately, you're not alone. Many people over 60 feel this way but rarely say it out loud. The good news is that your body can still respond and build strength at any age when it receives the right signals. Tell us in the comments, how old are you? And what's your biggest health goal right now? Your story might inspire another senior watching today, and it may even help you recognize which step matters most next for your bone health after 60. As a gentle reminder, always check with your doctor before making major diet changes, especially if you take medications or manage a chronic condition. Your body has a remarkable ability to adapt and support stronger bones naturally when it's guided safely and consistently. If this video helped you, please like it and share it with someone who might need reassurance today, and stay with us, because what comes next helps bring everything together in a clear, practical way.